If you're like me, you are tired of trying to find jeans that fit right no matter your build and still look good. Introducing the newest sponsor of the Double Doing podcast, Sweat Tailor, a premium menswear brand that is defining a new kind of casual. I started wearing Sweat Tailor and I am blown away by how comfortable and affordable the clothes are. And of course, they look great. My favorite is the all-in pants. It's a 5-pocket pant that feels like sweats but look way better. Thoughtfully tailored and unbelievably stretchy. From jackets and pants to joggers and hoodies, Sweat Tailor's designs are made to seamlessly fit into your life, moving from runway to office, office to drinks, and drinks to wherever the night takes you. Specializing in casual wear for men, pieces are designed with comfort and versatility in mind for your everyday. Use promo code BDEEGST. That is BDEEGST for 25% off. That again is BDEEGST for 25% off your order at sweattailor.com. And welcome back to another episode of the Double Doing Podcast. My name is Brenden D. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We're talking strictly Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to recap the Washington Commanders game. We have some Wednesday takeaways on that one, kind of looking back on that game. Zoom out a little bit, talk about the Eagles 4-0 start, how we're feeling about it, and then preview the Rams game. So an action-packed episode coming for you today. No one else to do it than my man, my friend. We are matching today. Black T-shirt squad. Best-looking man in Denmark is with me. Thomas, what's going on? Thomas, you're muted.
Yeah. I'm back. Right. I like I said, I just got my pulse down from Sunday. I think it's a good idea we did this on Wednesday and not Monday and Tuesday because it would not have been pretty. Now we can sober up the conversation a little bit more.
A lot of adrenaline going through me on that game. I was actually working 8 to 4 at the office for the score, and I had to stick around the office and watch the overtime with everyone kind of in the back corner, kind of having my own panic attack. But
interest hours. Show the bosses you're interested. Stay longer at work.
Hey, I have like a 45-minute drive to the office. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm not getting in the car right now. You kidding me? We're going to overtime. I'm watching this. I wanted to bring this up to you. This is pretty funny. So I've been posting social media clips from the podcast on Instagram, TikTok. If you haven't, make sure you follow those channels, the Double Doing Podcast. You can find it on Instagram and TikTok, wherever you find your short form clips. And Thomas, you're getting a lot of Jason Kelce comments whenever I post clips of you.
Huh?
People, you're getting a lot of Jason Kelce comments. People think you look like Jason Kelce on these clips.
I get the Jason Kelce ate Harry Potter.
You do, without the glasses, you do look a lot like Jason Kelce. I can't lie. With the glasses, it does take it away, but it's
that's where Harry Potter kind of comes into it, I guess.
the Harry Potter Jason Kelce look. You should dress as Jason Kelce for Halloween.
We don't do Halloween around here.
You don't do Halloween in Denmark?
No.
Why? What?
I think was it no actually fun, I think it's going to become more and more of a thing because Denmark has a tendency to just following American trends. So it's like Valentine also never was something that was celebrated, but now stores are pushing it to get people to buy more stuff. But yeah, no, Halloween has never really been a thing.
So you never like trick or treated as a kid? You never went door to door for candy?
No.
What? Oh my God, I feel bad for you. That's like part of childhood, dressing up.
Dressed up for other things.
I think I'm going to be Andy Reid for Halloween this year.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get like I'm going to buy one of those retro Eagles, like what are they called? You know, those like splash jackets that they wear back in the day. John Gruden had a really good one in a video back in the day with the Eagles. I want to buy one of those, get like a headset, get the mustache going.
You get your beard growing. You could do Jason Kelce as well.
Yeah, Andy. The thing with Kelce, like you basically only can put a jersey on, right? Like Andy Reid, you can get like the headset, you can get like the play sheet. You know, there's a lot more. Like
just walk around, say "Time's yours" all day.
That's funny. All right, let's talk about this team. So Philadelphia Eagles beat the Washington Commanders 34-31 in overtime, like we said at the top of this episode. A lot of adrenaline going through every Eagles fan. I'm sure everyone's kind of feeling the same way. It was a wild game. Thomas did a breakdown of Nicholas Morrow on his YouTube channel. Make sure to check that out if you haven't already after this. You listen to this. It was really well done. I want to focus on that to start, Thomas, because he was the best player probably on the defense for sure, maybe as the whole team in that game. 11 tackles, 3 quarterback hits, 3 sacks, kind of an unprecedented linebacker performance from the Philadelphia Eagle. We haven't seen something like that in a long time. What did you see from Nicholas Morrow when you broke down the tape?
Yeah, the stats always come out looking. You get an idea of how active they've been, but also just in coverage, he was a really good linebacker as well. I mean, he gave up 1 first down on 6 targets. On the other 5 targets, he allowed 4 catches, but those were really, really short catches, and 2 of them were on 3rd down where he forced 4th down. He was really disciplined in coverage. He saw things coming across. He was active with his eyes, diagnosed the play immediately, got his eyes out for whatever routes were coming in to his zones. He had a couple of man coverage snaps as well, where Washington were lined up in a trips formation. He sorted out the mess. One of the plays where Darius Slay gave up a big play, he was right there. Him and Bradbury right there with the guys that they were responsible for out of that trips formation. And yeah, in the running game, him and Zach Cunningham are just a really good duo to have lurking around for running plays. They fit gaps so well. They're just natural block shedders. They know how to get to the gaps before the offensive line get there. They can usually beat them to it. They get tackles for no gain. And then just the sacks that he got obviously were not all on him. One of them was a Fletcher Cox terrific move where he slammed Sam Cosmi out the way. Howell steps up the pocket, but really Nicholas Morrow on that sack was in coverage. And when he's in coverage like that, it's always a fine line between knowing when to trigger on a QB scramble and when to stay with your coverage. Usually you have trigger rolls for this, but he did such a good job of knowing when to go for Sam Howell without giving up a lot of space in the middle. And one of his 2 other of his sacks came on blitzes. One of them was a Jalen Carter who just destroyed, I believe it was the left guard on that play, allowing Nicholas Morrow to go one-on-one with the center, beating him up pretty quickly with speed and then getting a sack there. The other one was a blitz by both Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow, where Cunningham very aware of what to do. When he blitzed, he took the running back who was in pass protection into the center, which allowed Morrow to come right on the back end of it and to pick up the sack on that play. So it was from every angle. It was a good blitz technique. It was great D-line work. Eagles D-line in general in this game, they did such a good job getting pressure on Sam Howell. And really afterwards, one of the biggest things that stood out, credit to Sam Howell.
Yeah, he was awesome, man. Like, I don't think we gave enough love to Howell when we did our because he was coming off that 4 interception game against Buffalo
the week before.
Yeah. So he was real, like that throw to McLaurin on the sideline in overtime when he stepped on Reed Blankenship's arm was a dime. Like that was one of the best throws. That was the best throw of the day from both quarterbacks, probably.
Absolutely, and between Sam Howell being extremely sharp and Darius Slay looking completely off.
Yeah, that was his worst game I can remember in a long time for Slay.
Yeah, I guess the DK Metcalf game is the only one that really comes to mind otherwise in terms of comparing them. But yeah, that was brutal. But then other than that, I mean, he got his throw to Logan Thomas down the middle, the one where
was in the first quarter, I believe.
Penalty,
right?
I believe, as well.
Yeah. The first quarter was over the middle. I think it put them at like the 3 or 4 yard line, something like that.
Edmonds called for unnecessary roughness hitting a defenseless receiver. I never get that penalty.
We're going to talk about the refs in a bit.
Don't even get me started. I just got my pulse down. That play, he has Milton Williams draped all over him, like basically pulling his head the other way while he's making that throw. Unbelievable throw. Put it right where he had to. Sam Howell was the most impressive guy on the field in general that day.
Yeah, the ability to get after Sam Howell was something I'd kind of like. It took me until the next day or two to kind of realize, whoa, the pass rush really did get there. They had 31 total pressures combined, Thomas, in this game from all their defensive. That's insane. Like, I know PFF is probably very like lenient with pressures, and you don't know exactly how true that number is, but that is spectacular. Hassan Reddick led the way with 5 pressures for the Eagles. In general, Jalen Carter had another 4 pressures. that play, I posted a clip on Twitter of it yesterday of like in the goal line when Jalen Carter just blows up Sam Cosmi, and then Terrell Edmonds just didn't come down with that interception. That would have been such a game-changing play there. But yeah, the pass rush got home, like you said, all day in that game. Like a bunch of guys with 4 or 5 pressures. Fletcher Cox had 3, Milt Williams had 3. They did a good job. Sam Howell's escapability really saved them a lot of times, right? Like he ran for a couple first downs, I believe. He was just able to kind of get out of the pocket and make plays. Another thing on the defense, while we're sticking on, I want to talk about kind of the overall performance from them, because they did allow 31 points, and it was like live when you were watching live, you're kind of going, well, this is a bad performance. I thought a couple penalties like that were called could have changed up the game. Like they had a lot of I think it was 3 third down penalties that kept drives going. In this game, you had to hold on Bradbury. There was an illegal contact, I believe, in one, and there was one other one. But like if you get off the field on those 3 scoring drives, that was 17 points they gave up on penalties, just in general. So I do think like in another world, like where this game happens again, like those penalties don't happen and whatnot, and we're looking at a different ballgame.
Yeah, and on the Eagles, Eagles had 4 possessions in the first half. They scored on 3 of them. The only one they didn't was on 4th and 1, where they mistakenly called offsides on Landon Dickerson, even though it was actually Jason Kelce's hand that they spotted. Never mind Darion Payne, who's literally lined up in the helmet of Jason Kelce.
His hand's on the football. His hand is literally on the football.
So, yeah, it's very clear and it turns out Jason Kelce said on the New Heights podcast that Eagles received a memo from the league that they were having increased focus on Landon Dickerson lining up in the neutral zone, and so they were too aware of it and mistakenly and they thought that they thought that Jason Kelce's hand was Landon Dickerson. Jason Kelce's in a 4-point stand when he's doing the snap on those plays, and they thought his hand was Landon Dickerson's.
So
they're trying to overcorrect this play by making mistakes while trying to correct it. It's a shit show, and the refs in this game it was the combination of the Eagles coordinators, especially Brian Johnson in this game, really, really got me the wrong way, because they could have finished this game so many times earlier before overtime. Combined with that ref performance, it was every single time they threw a flag,
you knew
it was just questionable. It was so questionable every single time.
That's Darius Slay pass interference one. Oh my God. Like it was a completely clean pass breakup. The hold on Bradbury on that 3rd down on the first drive was bad as well. Yeah, the refs were awful.
Nicholas Morrow, the illegal contact that he had basically touched Terry McLaurin. He was just passing him along in coverage.
Yeah. There were some atrocious calls. The Commanders, like there were a couple calls, even both ways. Like I think most calls were majority on the Eagles, but the Commanders even got the
Edmonds roughing the passer or roughing a personal foul on Howell going out of bounds, where you could literally see Howell trying to tuck the ball in, getting ready for leaping. He sees Edmonds coming, so he tucks the ball afterwards, like within half a second of getting hit, and he hits him before he steps out of bounds. That got a drive going as well. That was 3rd down. So you have Bradbury pass interference. You have 2 Darius Slay on 3rd down that got first downs. You had the Edmonds hit out of bounds. You had Nicholas Morrow. All those 5 plays that should have been ending. That should have ended drives. Then, not to mention on 2nd down and 17 on the very last play of regulation, where Jalen Carter pulls off a spin move, gets pulled down against the left guard. Never mind that. It's Jesus Christ.
No, it was atrocious calls all game. I think the Eagles had about 13 penalties in this one. That can't happen on a week-to-week basis. Like that stuff has to get figured out. And like we said, I know a lot of
it just need new refs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I know most of it was on the refs as well, but like in general, like I think that was an under kind of talked about part of this game was just how the officiating did really affect. And you don't like to blame refs for stuff. Like the Eagles have to play better on both sides as well, but at the same time, like the refs did dictate a lot of this game. I want to stick on the defense before we transition over the offense from this game. What did you make of Sean Desai's play calling? I felt like he was playing too off coverage on a lot of 3rd downs. Did you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
100% agree.
What was the reason for this? Why? I don't really understand it. Like,
They've done
it
this the
felt like
entire year.
Really, I felt like it was just more emphasized in this game.
No. Nope. They've been playing us off the rest of the year, but Sam Howell was getting the ball out quickly, and so you notice it a lot more. And when you're under pressure for 32 snaps, you like it has to be either you're getting a ton of sacks or they're getting the ball out quickly.
That's fair. Yeah.
And Howell took complete advantage of that.
Yeah, it felt like he could have been way more aggressive on a lot of plays, like just like press man. And I know they're banged up in the secondary, so they're probably just thinking we can't get beat deep, right? Like, and a lot of stuff like that. It kind of reminded me. I hate to say it, it reminded me a lot of the Jonathan Gannon's defense a little bit.
I don't know if they were just worried about not having the safety help that they probably could have wanted. I mean, Edmonds had a really rough game from a ref perspective. I think he actually had some. I mean, if he catches that ball where Jalen Carter absolutely destroys Sam Cosmi and then hits Sam Howell and a floater goes in the air and Edmonds drops the pass, drops the would-be interception. Had he caught that ball, we'd be talking about it completely different because the hit and the trigger that he had on Howell on that third down scramble that they call a penalty on, that was a good play. That's exactly what you want to do. The hit on Logan Thomas over the middle, exactly what you want to do. He doesn't hit him with it. He doesn't lead with his helmet. He doesn't hit him in the helmet. And if you're going to be throwing passes like that, you have to punish that. You're not supposed to give up free plays like that over the seam. That's why we have safeties. And if they can't hit, why the fuck are they on the field? And so I think it's one thing is that Edmonds had. I think he's gonna get more blame than he deserves in this game.
Agree,
but still, Sidney Brown would be so great to have back. And I hate to say it, we even talked about this this last week. Justin Evans has been playing well. He was better than we thought after week 1. Week 2 and week 3, he played well up until his neck injury in week 3. And yeah, they need both those guys back. And hopefully now we can get Bradley Roby figured out in the slot and then move James Bradbury out.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Bradley Roby in a little bit. I think it was an interesting move. I was kind of thinking after the game, like, there's no way Howie's not going to add someone. I didn't know if it was going to be a name like Bradley Roby, but I thought they would try to add some sort of depth. But it was a very interesting signing. I agree with you. I thought Terrell Owens did get too much heat in this game. I thought he played fine. The penalties really kind of screwed him over. And yeah, like you said, catches that interception. It's kind of a game-changing play. Like, there was a lot of just little dinky dunk plays that went the Commanders' way that didn't go the Eagles' way, and they still come out with the victory. Quickly let's touch on the offense before we move on from this football game. I thought it was Jalen Hurts' best game of the year. He did not turn the ball over, zero interceptions, which is key for first time throwing over 300 plus yards in this game. He had 4 big time throws according to PFF as well. That throw to Olamide Zaccheaus over the middle on that third down was money. That was his best throw of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He had a good game. He was accurate downfield for the most part. He missed Devontae Smith wide open with an extremely clean pocket, and Devontae had separation. That was a bad play. He also had 2 other plays.
That deep throw, right? Yeah, on the left side.
Exactly. Yeah. Then he had 2 plays as well where the Commanders were playing zone coverage, and Devontae Smith was cleared from the cornerback, and the safety was not in the area. That would have been long touchdowns. One of them, Jalen Hurts takes a sack on. The other one, the ball gets deflected, where he kind of holds on to the ball a little bit too long. He could have easily anticipated Devontae Smith getting open down the field. You can even see him looking at him on those plays, but it's smaller things. Like it's you can always go back in the tape and you find some plays where you're able to make him. And also Dallas Goedert has to play better, man. 2 plays where he's jogging downfield, not looking bad, even though Commanders are sending 6, 7, 8 guys in pressure even on one where they're near the goal line. And Dallas is not even looking back within the first 2.5 seconds of the play. Another one hits him right in the hands and he completely drops the ball, almost costing an Emmanuel Forbes interception. A bad game for the case for Dallas Goedert to get more targets because he was shit in this game.
He only has 19 targets this year, Thomas. He's still third on the team in targets, but like Devonta Smith is 28 and AJ Brown is 41. Like I didn't expect the drop off from Goddard's going to be the third option on this team. Like Devonta Smith and AJ Brown are going to get more targets, but felt like before the year, like there was a lot of hype about Dallas Goedert in training camp this year. Like a lot of the beat writers who were at camp, a lot of people that had eyeballs on the ground on this team during the summer said like Goddard's a big part of this offense. He's getting targets. He's gonna be a big part. A lot of people like draft him in fantasy. Make sure you get him on your team. And it hasn't been there at all yet. I agree. I thought he did play bad on kind of the second rewatch. He had that really nice catch. But that was also dimed by Jalen Hurts when he was kind of going back. Like Jalen Hurts put that in the exact spot it needed to be. But they have to get Goddard more involved in this offense going forward. It's got to happen. He's too good of a player.
I don't know. I mean, to begin with, he should start actually earning it because Olamide Zaccheaus has done nothing but make plays ever since he's gotten in the lineup. Devontae Smith is an absolute superstar. AJ Brown is the best player on the team. So, I mean, I don't know if I need to get Dallas Goedert more involved. I don't have to see it. They're 4-0. They're doing things the right way. I'd rather see DeAndre Swift get more involved than I'd like to see Dallas Goedert get more. Like I don't care about Dallas Goedert. I don't give a shit. If they win games and they give the ball to guys who are actually making plays. I mean, it's the same thing. Running backs, you can't give up sacks in pass protection. You get off the field. The same with a tight end. If you can't look back within the first 5 yards when the other team is setting pressure, I don't need you on the field. I'm sorry. But you're just, I mean, how many years has Dallas Goedert been playing in the NFL?
He was drafted 2018.
Too goddamn many to make that mistake. It's such an easy thing to diagnose blitzing from a defense, even pre-snap. And then when you're actually running your route, look back because the ball might be coming 3 times. The one was the intentional grounding. One other one was a drop, and the third one was a ball thrown right over his head because he didn't look back. That's 3 potential catches he could have had if he was just a little bit more aware as a football player. So no, I disagree. I don't need to see Dallas Goedert get more involved unless he's better.
Well, yeah, he needs to play. He needs to play better, 100%. Yeah. But like he's too talented to play like this, and he's too talented to not be involved like this. Like when Goddard's clicking, the offense is just better, right? Like it's a well. But like even last year, like in the red zone, like when like they had a lot of plays where Dallas Goedert's in motion, catching balls in the flat, easy touchdowns. That screen, I'm looking back to last year, that Washington Commanders game early on in the year, he had that screen pass. It was like a 20-yard touchdown. Like when Goddard is,
they just haven't been working too much this year. I mean,
exactly. Like it's not there, but it needs to get there. Like I agree with you, he's not playing well and stuff. And he just needs to get it figured out. But the Eagles also need to figure out how to get him played better and how to get him more involved in the offense because it's just a better unit when Dallas Goedert is clicking. And again, like you said, they're 4-0. Like it's not like it's crippling the team right now. But like going forward, if they want to be the best team in the NFC, they're going to need AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert playing at a high level. And without Goedert playing at a high level, like it just takes away another aspect of his offense.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but it was. I guess what I'm getting at is that you only have that many distributions of target and touches. Last year when you had a running back crew that was average, they consisted of average players. I mean, of course you want your 3 primary targets to be distributed to Goddard, AJ, and Devontae. But right now, when you're looking at this team and you go AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and DeAndre Swift, who would you rather have more involved? Dallas Goedert or DeAndre Swift? Because I sure as hell would take Swift 10 out of 10 times over Dallas Goedert right now. When he is the primary reason, and I don't understand. Tell me, Brenden, why the Eagles are not using DeAndre Swift in the fourth quarter of games the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's baffling. Way too much Gainwell down the stretch. And DeAndre, an underrated play in this game was that swing pass to DeAndre Swift that gained about 10 yards down the sidelines. That should have been a 1-yard loss or like tackled right at the goal line. DeAndre Swift makes a man miss on the sidelines. I think it was about a 9-yard gain. It puts him at 3rd and 1. They end up doing the quarterback sneak the next play, I believe, or 2 plays later to get the first down. That was probably the biggest play of the game. DeAndre Swift needs to be more involved in the passing game in general going forward.
And his other run in that quarter was an 8-yard gain on 1 carry. And otherwise than that, they didn't use him. They had that swing pass. They had the 8-yard running play. And then other than that, they didn't use him in the last 3 drives of regulation.
Yeah. It was all. It might be because they might trust Gainwell more in pass protection right now. But that's a shitty excuse to not have DeAndre Swift on the field. They got to figure out how to get him on the field,
especially when Gainwell is not even pass protecting. Like there wasn't a single rep where he was in pass protection.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about DeAndre Swift and pass being involved in the passing game because right now this Thomas's screen game, like just in general in the offense, is an absolute disaster. They are 11 for 11 on screen. So Hurts has completed every single screen pass for 26 yards. right now. Like, that is disgusting. That's like what, just over 2 yards per screen. I know Nick Sirianni, like even since he's been a head coach here in 2021, the screen game hasn't been a big part of this offense. But there was a lot of easy buttons that they were able to hit with the screen game last year, especially to Devonta Smith. Those quick 6 to 10 yard gains, that's not there right now. And DeAndre Swift is he's good with the ball in open space. So I really think they need to get him more involved in the screen game because it's a part of this offense that is just not working. And the numbers are alarming. If they want to get to that next level of offense, getting the ball in open space with these guys, Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Swift, Devonta Smith in the screen game is going to be really important.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I guess let's give AJ Brown some love before we move on from this game. Holy shit, another masterful performance. He had over 175 yards and 2 touchdowns over the last 2 games. He had 18 catches for 306 yards and 2 tutters. He had 2 drop touchdown passes, of course, in the Bucs game. This guy's playing at a remarkable level right now, Thomas. Like he has not slowed down from last year at all.
Nope. Yeah, he is. He's still dominant. I mean, despite a first 2 weeks, a little bit like not as much involved as we've seen before. But he's now sixth in receiving yards in the league. He's just every bit as dominant as always. And we talked about it last week as well, in the way they closed out the Buccaneers game with short passes to AJ Brown and just letting him work whoever's in front of him. Did the same with Emmanuel Forbes, who now deactivated his Twitter account because he was getting roasted with videos. And he is AJ Brown is different, man.
He's so good. Emmanuel Forbes got cooked in that game by anybody. Like, it wasn't just AJ Brown. Wherever Emmanuel Forbes was lining up, he had 2 touchdowns. He had over 160. I think it was 167 yards in coverage. It was bad, and I hated that draft pick from the start. I never understood why the Commanders took him there. Christian Gonzalez was like such a clearly better player than Emmanuel Forbes, and he was on the board. If you wanted a quarterback, take Gonzalez. Even the Deontay Banks was better than Forbes. The fact that Forbes went ahead of those guys is disgusting.
Christian's out for the year now, too.
Yeah, I did see that. They just traded for J.C. Jackson, the Patriots. They're not giving up on the season after that 38-3 ass kicking to the Cowboys. Holy crap. Okay, I think that's it. This is a nice transition to the next topic because we're going to zoom out a little bit and talk about some injuries, how we're feeling about the team. Sua Opeta played really well in this game, Thomas. 25 pass block snaps, 0 pressures allowed, 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits. He was the Eagles' highest graded offensive lineman in that game. I know he only played 25 snaps, but impressive performance from the kid.
I think Jason Kelce was the highest graded player from the game. I'm stalling a little bit to see what the actual...
I got pass blocking here. So Sua Opeta...
No, you're right. Sua Opeta. You're right. Yeah. Super defeating to see Cam Jurgens go down with injury. He was also playing really well up until the point where he got replaced. And I think really he was also taking strides week by week. But yeah, that's a tough D-line to come in off the bench to play against. There's some pretty good players there. Jerome Payne, Jonathan Allen are not easy to handle on the inside. So good job by Sua Opeta.
I thought Chase Young played really well in this game for the Commanders.
You think? You think he got a little bit of Jordan Mailata this game?
Yeah, that was a rough game for Mailata.
Yeah, I think he bounced back well. He had a rough first half, but he really got after it well afterwards. And like he said, he had some uplifting conversations with Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson at halftime, and kind of picked him up when he was getting a little bit down and getting rough on himself there. So yeah, that was good. That was good to hear as well. Sua Opeta has a big role to fill.
Do you have an update on? I think Jeff McClain from the Philly Inquirer said that it was a sprained foot and he's week to week or could miss a couple weeks. Do we have anything else? Like, we haven't heard from the coaches yet, right? So we don't even know.
No, I saw that report as well. Like, sprained foot can mean so many things.
Yeah, and it's like
basically he has a foot injury and he's out. He could be out for multiple. And also say he could be out for multiple weeks. Like, what do we? I mean, so you have a super unspecific diagnosis. You have a super unspecific timeline. What a report!
Oh man, yeah. Like I was kind of looking yesterday and this morning, going like, what the fuck? How long is Cam Jurgens out for? I need to know. And we were not going to get anything from Sirianni today at the press conference. So like we probably won't know for at least a day or two. But yeah, so that's kind of a big loss, especially with Aaron Donald coming to town. So, but it was nice to see Sewell Pettit step in, and good for him because he's been, I don't even know how many times he's been signed off the practice squad, brought to the team, cut. Like, I'd be curious to look at his like transaction page with the Eagles because he's been with the Eagles since I think 2020, and he's been on and off this roster for basically 3 years. And it's nice to see him get an opportunity here. This is a big shot for him to kind of gain some respect around Philly because they need him now.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's interesting that Tyler Steen is not the guy up too. So they're trusting Sewell Pettit more than him. It was kind of like, it looks like Steen's been inactive a couple of games actually so far, right? Through 4 games. I think he's been on the inactive list a couple of times. So he's still not ready to kind of step in.
The Double Doink Podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Life is hard. It's especially hard when you don't have someone you can open up to. Not everyone is comfortable talking to their friends and family about their personal matters or anything that is bothering them on a day-to-day basis. Mental health is so important to continued success in this world. Therapy is a great way to regroup and get everything off your chest. Insert BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the largest online therapy service, 100% online. They will match you with professional licensed therapists you can trust. You can talk with your therapist however you see fit, via text, phone call, or video chat. BetterHelp has successfully helped over 4 million people worldwide deal with their day-to-day mental health issues. Use the link in the podcast description to get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp. The Double Doink Podcast today is sponsored by Manscaped, who has taken a step up from Halloween to bring your face the cleanest shave it's ever seen. So this season, no need to toil and trouble. Manscaped's all-new Handyman is the best way to get rid of that stubble. Featuring a compact design and next-gen skin-safe technology, the Handyman was designed to give you that smooth finish without the mess of a traditional shave. Get the sweetest treat this Halloween by going to manscaped.com and use code DOINK20 for 20% off and free shipping. It may be spooky season, but you don't want to scare people with that scraggly beard. Give them something to look at with Manscaped's Handyman. Are you tired of a bad razor making your neck look like a scary movie? With the Handyman skin-safe technology to help reduce nicks and cuts, you can finally feel confident when going for that close shave. For wet or dry use, feel free to bring this anywhere and everywhere. The compact design and airplane friendliness make this the perfect travel tool for on the go. And being able to shave up to 3 days growth without the mess of a wet shave is priceless. Get 20% off and free shipping using code DOINK20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using code DOINK20 for a look as sweet as candy. Get yourself the Handyman from Manscaped.
Okay, 4-0, Thomas. How are we feeling overall about the team?
All right, I guess. I mean, it's how, like, I think I 100% buy into the very cliche way of saying in that it's better to be 4-0 and struggling than doing well and losing. So I buy that 100%. I think it's like last year. Last year as well wasn't pretty when the Eagles were winning games for the most part. But what we always hang our hat on back then as well was, well, look at how many ways the Eagles can win, right? I mean, one, they're winning in a defensive shootout. Then they're winning in an offensive shootout. Then they're winning by running the ball. Then they're winning by throwing the ball. But philosophically and just strategically, especially from an offensive standpoint, I don't understand what the I don't know why the Eagles insist on trying to sick when everyone else sacking, right? At the end of the game there, you have DeAndre Swift, who has been averaging if you take away his goal line carries, he was averaging 6 yards per carry again. And so if you're on that last drive, you're inside the Commander's 50-yard line, you can get a first down by rushing. 100% you can get a first down by rushing. And then just milk the clock down, kick the game-winning field goal, it's over. But then they take goddamn shots down the field and risk basically. I mean, A.J. Brown catches it. That's great. We can all look back and we got 7 points. But if
it was fun in the moment.
It's fun in the moment, but then you think about, all right, if they don't get that, the clock stops. Washington still has a timeout. You haven't moved anywhere. Now running the ball seems very curious. So if that did not succeed, holy shit, it would have been chaos. because then it's not even certain Eagles would have gotten 3 points, and they probably would have given the ball back to Sam Howell with like 1 minute and 30 remaining, while Washington also had a timeout. The QB decide runs. We're not talking about RPOs. We're not talking about scrambling when there's pressure in the pocket. But the QB decide runs where Jalen Hurts takes a snap out of usually empty formation and runs with it has to stop. He's lying down after 1 yard. He doesn't take contact. If you don't want him to take contact, don't fucking run QB runs.
Thomas, negative 0.4 EPA per Jalen Hurts design runs so far this year. It is one of the least effective. It's literally one of the least effective plays in football right now.
They have the best playing football in the QB sneak, and they have the worst playing football, and they damn want to do it every single game. Yeah. And it makes zero sense. It's spitting in the face of DeAndre Swift and the Eagles offensive line.
Now I get the wanting to get the Jalen Hurts design runs going. Like when the Eagles are at their best, Jalen Hurts is running well. Like the Super Bowl.
No, he's not.
Well, like look at the Super Bowl last year, right? Like they used
the Super Bowl when you're playing a one game that you have to win, and everybody's giving everything, and you're slamming your body into people.
No, but like my point is like if Jalen Hurts is picking up 10 to 12 yards on these runs, the offense is looking good and it's doing well. It's not sustainable throughout a whole year. You're right. They need to use it in more like timely manners here. Like
what is the timely manner? When do you want to use it?
Like let's say you're 3rd and goal, right at the goal line, and you have the defense spread out. Like, remember the Indianapolis Colts game last year when Jalen Hurts ran for that
that makes sense. Yeah,
that kind of thing. The Buffalo Bills, like Josh Allen, the Bills are a great example of this. Last week against the Dolphins, they shit pumped them. It was like they put 48 points. Josh Allen had one quarterback design run that entire game. It was a 16-yard touchdown run in the red zone. And Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen are kind of similar players. Like Josh Allen, obviously,
I'll give you that. Red zone wise, it makes sense to kind of implement it there to kind of improve your red zone efficiency. Also, if you break that play just minimally with the ball, the play is over and it's a touchdown. But doing it in open field between the 20s when you want to sink away a game like they did against the Patriots, it's just asking for failure. Yeah. It's asking for a massive hit, a fumble, an ineffective play, and you have. Let's be honest. Jalen Hurts is not the 3rd best ball carrier on this team right now.
No,
especially when he's playing with as aware of not taking hits as he is. And obviously he's getting told that. We also heard that from the coaching staff. There's been an emphasis this offseason that he shouldn't be taking hits as a runner. So why not use your 4 running backs that you have on your team?
Yeah, like DeAndre Swift right now is playing out of his mind. Like 364 yards, 59 carries, 2 touchdowns. That's 6.17 yards per pop. He's doing well in the receiving game. Like, you should be utilizing him way more in the run game. And I know, like, you want to keep him fresh and whatnot, but there has been so many times this year, like that 3rd and 11 call to Kenneth Gainwell when you're up by 4 points in the red zone. What the fuck are we doing here? I hated that play call so much, Thomas. I get they got a first down. I think it was in the Bucs game on a 3rd and 8 run, but DeAndre Swift was the ball carrier, not Kenneth Gainwell. They got to utilize him more. They have.
The gap between Christian McCaffrey and DeAndre Swift right now is not that big. You're just looking at a way different volume of work that Christian McCaffrey is getting, and you can understand the logic from the Eagles side of things that you want to make sure that DeAndre Swift is healthy given his injury history. But like you see that there's about 95-yard difference between Christian McCaffrey and DeAndre Swift, and Christian McCaffrey has almost 30 carries more than DeAndre Swift has, and it's like not taking anything away from Christian McCaffrey. Quite the opposite. It just goes to show that how well DeAndre Swift is doing, and the way that Christian is being utilized gives him the ability to really hit anything in stride. We saw what happens when DeAndre Swift gets the amount of work. Like we saw it against the Vikings, he destroyed them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a great point with McCaffrey because he is playing a stupid amount of snaps for the 49ers. Like he didn't leave the field in week 1. Week 2, he only missed 4 plays. So like the 49ers are leaning into him so much. I'm not saying the Eagles should be playing DeAndre Swift 95% of the snaps, but for instance, like last week, he played 63% of the snaps. Let's get that number up to like 75, 80%. You know, like he is the bell cow now. DeAndre Swift is the guy in the backfield. That trade, Thomas, for a 2025 fourth round pick is looking like an absolute
absurd.
steal. Yeah. And he needs to be the focal point going forward. Like that's pretty.
I think it's quite telling that even though the Christian McCaffrey has 30 touches more, DeAndre Swift is right there with him in first down carries. Like carries that results in a first down.
It's funny because during the preseason, like I'm a Gainwell guy, still like Gainwell, but like the play of DeAndre Swift is just put him above and beyond. Where it's like we know what we're seeing here, we know who's the better running back. Like our eyes are not telling us anything different. So
you just see it when you see them getting a carry right next to each other, right after one another. You just say, all right, there's the difference.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He's averaging 6.2. He's averaging 6.2 yards per carry.
Yeah,
you're not on 60 attempts.
What's McCaffrey averaging per carry right now?
5.8, I think.
Interesting.
5.7.
Gotcha. Okay. Before we move on to the Rams game, the Eagles made a signing yesterday. They signed cornerback Bradley Roby. We brought that up at the top of the episode. What do you make of this, Thomas? Where do you expect him to play? How soon do you expect him to play? Kind of give me what you're thinking about Bradley Roby to the Eagles.
Low risk, high reward. Moves James Bradbury to the outside. Bradley Roby has always been a very versatile cornerback.
Yeah.
Has pretty good numbers while playing in the slot. I don't remember the last time I saw Bradley Roby play live or
the Saints. So last year with the Saints, he was kind of in and out of the starting lineup. He didn't play a ton. Like his stint in New Orleans wasn't that impressive. It was more
Gardner Johnson.
Denver. Yeah, pretty similar. But yeah, like the last 2 years have not been ideal for him. He's battled some injuries. He's been in another starting lineup, but he's only 31 years old. He can still play at a high level, in my opinion. And I don't know if he's going to start this week, but I don't think they're signing him for nothing. Like, I think they're planning to use him.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the idea is like when they're making this move, I see a lot of Josh Jobe slander and time to get him off the field, yada yada. This has more to do with getting James Bradbury outside than it has getting Josh Jobe off the field. Like he's been respectable when he's been in there. He made some mistakes. He's given up 2 touchdowns, pretty key moments in both of them. But I mean, he's been competitive. If you're watching Darius Slay and the amount of shit that he does, it's can't fault Jobe too much with that. It's not like I said, it's not a move to get Jobe off the field.
I don't think Jobe's been terrible. Like
no.
I think he's been fine. He's been a spot starter, and that's what you were expecting. Like you weren't expecting this guy to light it up. Like he's only a second-year player. He's still really young. Exactly. I think you nailed it. Like this is more about getting Bradbury out of the slot. And I hate to like poo Mario Goodrich here, but what a waste of a roster spot he's been. Like if you're going to keep him on the 53 and he's not playable, like what are we doing here? Like that roster spot is just wasting away.
Yeah.
Okay. I think, is there anything else like big picture you want to talk about? Anything that's on your mind before we kind of go over the Rams game?
No,
I got nothing. I got nothing else either. It's been a fun ride. Exciting time to be an Eagles fan in general. Like,
just one thing. Can we not worry about Jalen Carter getting Rookie Defensive Player of the Year and not getting sacks and whatnot? Like this guy's getting pressure out of his mind. He's playing extremely well. We all know that. We all see that. We see the way he's impacting games throughout the first 4 weeks. It doesn't matter how many sacks he's getting. It doesn't matter how close he's getting to winning an accolade. That doesn't mean shit. Just the fact that he's playing at the level that he's playing at, we should all be very happy with that and then stop complaining.
If you're looking at sack numbers for defensive tackles, you don't know ball, like straight up. I saw the craziest tweet on Monday night. Devin Witherspoon had an unbelievable game for the Seahawks, and he's a really good player. Some Seahawks fan account, it kind of went viral on Twitter, tweeted like they stacked up Devin Witherspoon's sack numbers and tackle numbers with Jalen Carter's, and they're like, the Seahawks know what they're doing. They made the right decision by passing Jalen Carter. It's like, buddy, like.
They very well might have. They were. I mean, both teams got good players.
Yeah,
they play very different positions. Stop comparing. Stop comparing. Oh yeah,
it was. I was like it's not even comparable stats to a cornerback to a defensive tackle. They both got these look like the two best defensive players in the draft right now, Devin Witherspoon and Jalen Carter. But yeah, you're right. Like, and defensive rookie of the year is like really hard to win as a defensive tackle in general. Like awards for defensive tackles, even defensive player of the year. Like that's how good Aaron Donald was during that stretch because defensive tackles don't usually win it. Chris Jones, I thought, should have won it last year. That's how good he was, and he didn't win it. So it's not easy. The tush push. Let's talk about that quickly. Let's end it. No more tush push conversation. 3 teams tried to do it last week. Thomas did not work. Chargers, Patriots, and Giants. The Eagles are just better at it than everyone else, and I really hope the national media stops talking about it.
Yeah, fuck the league.
It's getting so annoying. It's like every week on the timeline, man. Like, fucking cut it out already. It's gonna.
We don't want to talk about the tush push. We don't want to watch Taylor Swift anymore. Can we just move on with real football, please?
Did you see Jason Kelce and Travis? I haven't watched the podcast from today, but they said like the NFL's overdoing it with Taylor Swift. Like even Jason gets sick of it.
Just a little bit. I mean, they didn't pound on it super hard. I think Travis kind of hinted out that it said, yeah, they might be overdoing it a little bit, but it's not like they seem super offended by it.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this in the Los Angeles Rams team. So Eagles are traveling to Los Angeles to play the Rams. I'm trying to remember the last time the Eagles played the Rams. They didn't play them last year, right? And in 2021, did they? It's been a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a while. The Fighting McVays. They're frisky this year. I mean, they're way better than I thought.
They are, and the last time they played was 2020. The Eagles lost 37-19. You know what? Oh my God, I remember that game. It was the week 2 against the was it week 3 or week 2? Carson Wentz threw that interception in the red zone. That was at the beginning of the Wentz disaster. Remember at the beginning of that 2020 season when they tied the Bengals?
Who is this Carson Wentz guy you're talking about? There's a couple of years that just skips out of my mind right there.
Oh, I remember watching this game vividly. That was the game I was kind of going like, like they might have a problem. Carson Wentz had this really bad reception where like he was running to his left, turned his body, tried to throw it in the red zone, and it was picked off. So that was the last time
at all.
You don't remember this game? Oh, it was at the very. I remember this. I remember where I was watching. I was watching at a buddy's house in his room. We were frustrated. That was a bad game. 37-19. The Eagles lost to the Rams. So it's been a few years. This Rams team, Thomas, has been like one of the, I guess, surprises so far this year. A lot of people didn't think they were going to like be a good team. A lot of people predicted 5, 6, 7 wins at max. They're 2-2 right now. They had a nice win against the Indianapolis Colts. They did kind of blow it towards the end. They were up 20-0, I believe, 17-0 or 20-0 over the Colts. The Colts stormed back in the second half, tied up the game, and then the Rams won it in overtime on a touchdown by Puka Nacua. But the Rams passing game has been really, really good so far. In the offense in general, they're 8th in offensive EPA per play. They're 9th in pass or rushing EPA per play, so they're balanced as well. But I think any running play that the Rams have is a victory for the Eagles. Like, I think you want to keep the ball out of Matthew Stafford's hands. Their running backs haven't been able to do much. I was digging up some stats today. They only have 5 broken tackles from the running backs, which is 29th in the NFL so far by a wide margin. Like the gap from 29 to 20 is a big one. So they haven't been able to do much. Like a lot of the runs are schemed up, like to Atwell, for instance, on those reverses, plays like that. Like I think any running back run is a victory for this team.
Yeah, and I think to be honest, that the Rams, what they've got going on with Matthew Stafford and some of these receivers that are on the team, even if Cooper Kupp plays or not, I think they're very well geared to spread the ball around early. If the Eagles come out and they want to do the same stuff that they were going on against the Commanders and play more zone, play more off, I think Stafford is very Howell-esque in the type that he can get the ball out quick. He can take pressure, and like he doesn't squander whenever he's getting pressure in the pocket. He can step up there and deliver some passes.
He's a tough fucker, man.
Exactly. I think that's gonna be difficult to handle for the Eagles.
Yeah, this is not an easy matchup. The passing offense has been really good. They have they're 3rd in total completion so far. They lead the league in air yards per completion in the NFL. So they like to push the ball down the field. They get the receivers open. McVay's in his bag right now. And Puka Nacua, like, just absolutely not coming out of nowhere because he's a rookie, but like, what a start to his career. He's PFF's 5th highest graded receiver right now. He's been a fantasy darling. I have him on 2 of my fantasy teams. Like, I was so lucky to pick him up. He's been awesome. And it's a tough spot. Let's talk. Actually, we just got big news before we started the podcast, so let's bring this up. Cooper Kupp is now open. His 21-day practice window is open. We were talking before the podcast. We're going, he probably won't play against the Eagles, but it's a possibility, and that would just add another dimension to this passing attack.
Yeah, like I said, we probably won't be playing. I mean, he's probably going to take some ramp up time. It's a hamstring injury. It's a soft tissue injury, so they're probably going to be a little bit more careful with it. But yeah, regardless, even if he plays or not, I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about Cooper Kupp playing, to be honest, especially given the nature of his injury that he's had. I think he's going to be on a pitch count if he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Puka Nacua has been playing well, and I mean, Stafford has these guys rolling. I mean, it's not like it's a like on paper a group that you'll be terrified of by any stretch of imagination. But they can get these contested catches that the teams have been running on against the Eagles here whenever they get some separation.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about the Rams offense versus the Eagles defense. Like, I think this is probably the best offense they're going to play. Well, this is the best offense they played through 5 weeks. I guess maybe you could put the Vikings up there. But I think the Rams are a better offense than the Vikings right now. Like, Tutu Atwell can beat you deep. The one thing that I do think the Eagles, again, it's a big thing, but the Rams offensive line can be had. Their PFF is not grading these guys very highly at all. The highest graded one is Steve Avila, who's a rookie who I actually really liked coming out of the draft as well. Actually, no, Steve Avila's not the rookie, is he? Yeah, he was. Steve Avila's a rookie. Yeah. He's the guy. I really liked him during the draft process. But he's like their highest graded offensive lineman right now. They've had some injuries on that side of the ball so far. Like Joe Noteboom has been banged up. He's been in and out of the lineup. Alaric Jackson, I believe, missed last week's game, but even when he's been in the lineup, he hasn't been very good. Rob Havenstein is another guy. Like, he's one of their offensive tackles. He's a guy that can be had as well. So I think this is
feel like we're getting a broken record to this point with saying Eagles defensive line should be clearing the offensive line they're playing. They're going to get pressured, but they're also going to give up a shit ton of yards in the passing game, and they're going to be moving the ball because the Eagles are not really playing well in coverage behind it to match it, and they're not going to be able to have Stafford hold the ball for too long. And it's kind of been the same with whoever they've been playing.
And I think this game is going to be a little easier to finish up on sacks. Like, Sam Howell was very slippery last week. Like, he escaped a bunch of sacks. He got out of the pocket. Stafford's mobile, but like not very mobile. Like, you should be able to clean up. You should be able to clean up and finish these sacks off in this game. Like, if you're getting 31 pressures like you were against the Commanders, I think you're going to get more than 5 sacks. You're probably looking at like 8 or 9. So I think this Eagles
hope so for sure.
Yeah. This Eagles defensive line should be able to dominate, and that they're going to have to. Like, they have to get after Stafford, because if you can't get after him, he's going to pick you apart. Like, he's playing at such a high level. Let's finish it up. Rams defense versus the Eagles offense, and I think this one's pretty easy, Thomas. There's one guy to stop.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeast. Yeast.
What a name, man. One of my favorite names in the league right now. He's not playing too well. He's not playing too bad either.
I read on the back of his jersey, it's like, is that for real? Does that say yeast?
It does. We are not. I didn't mean Russ Yeast, but Thomas is right. He's not bad. We're talking about Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is, again, playing out of his mind right now. 27th, I think he has like 24, 25 pressures right now. He's just ahead of Jalen Carter and of all defensive tackles. He is still a game wrecker. And we talked about it at the top or in the middle of the episode. Sua Petersen, Jason Kelsey, and Landon Dickerson are going to have to slow this guy down.
Yeah, it's always tricky. And with as slow developing as the Eagles offense has been in the passing game, I mean, how slowly plays are developing down the field. Not that. No, they've been also been kind of lacking in getting going here. But yeah, you can imagine that there's going to be some. Eagles have to get their running game going in this game. You talked about the screen game. That could be a way of also kind of slowing down this thing here from Aaron Donald. Kind of utilizing his speed against him and trying to get him in some positions that manipulate him basically to go where you want him to. Some wham concepts. They've been very successful with that in prior years, especially when they've been going up against good defensive tackles. Because it's not going to work if they're just going to come out throwing the ball too much. And the way that that Jalen Hurts has looked against any pressure up the pocket, he just escapes out of it. He's seeing ghosts. He doesn't trust his pocket. That's been pretty disappointing. So not hoping that he gets into that mindset early in the game.
There were actually a couple plays in that Commanders game where he kind of like looks at his first read and takes off. That's something he's got to get better at, and I think he will. But it's definitely a point of emphasis with Hurts right now. And if Aaron Donald's coming at you, like we saw Geno Smith, like did you see that clip of Geno Smith going, "Oh my God," when Aaron Donald's running at him? So it's not the most pleasant guy to have coming at you full speed. But if you do take away Aaron Donald, this defense is not very good at all.
It's very manageable.
Yeah. So the Rams right now are 27th in quarterback knockdowns and 27th in sacks. So that is with Aaron Donald having a monster season. So that just goes to show, like, you take him out, they don't got a lot. So I do think like the emphasis on this game, and of course, basically every time you play the Rams is going to be able to stop basically one guy on the team. They do have a couple other pass rushers that like aren't terrible. I think it's Byron Young. Byron Young is playing pretty good so far. He has 16 total pressures, but outside of him, like Byron Young is like a mediocre average player. Aaron Donald's a star. Outside of those two, like the defensive line should be able to, or the Eagles offensive line, so should be able to move the Los Angeles Rams.
Nailed it.
I'm doing my best. We're 53 minutes in, man. All right, give me a break. Couple more things on the Rams defense. They don't blitz a lot at all. They're sixth lowest in blitz rate so far this season. That is what everyone's expected. This team just hasn't blitzed as well with Sean McVay at the helm. It doesn't matter who the defensive coordinator is, even when it was Brandon Staley back in the day. They don't like to send pressure. And the secondary can be had. They're tied for the second fewest passes defended in the NFL. And yeah, I think it's a good matchup for the Eagles offense. Like they should be able to put up 30 points on this defense.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right. Anything else from anything else you want to get off your chest before we predict this game?
Let's predict this shit. Do it.
Okay. I'll be honest with you. This game worries me. Just from a mathematical standpoint, you think about it, like the Eagles are 4-0. They're not going to go undefeated. Losses are going to come. Let's say you think they're going to go 14-3. The loss is going to come at some point, right? Just from a mathematical standpoint.
I'm trying to justify to me right now that you're going to be predicting an Eagles loss.
I'm going to pick the Eagles to win. I'm going to go 27-24. I think the Eagles are going to get close to 30 points. The offense is going to move, but I think it's going to be a close one. This is a hard game. This is, I think, the most difficult game that they're going to have going on the road to LA. Eagles fans should probably be, I'm assuming Eagles fans are going to be dominating that stadium. The Rams don't have a ton of fan base there anyways. It's going to be kind of close to a home game. The Eagles are so good at traveling, but I'm going to go Eagles 27-24. I was very close to predicting a loss. I do think one's coming over the next couple weeks. Like the Dolphins, Jets, and Rams, they're going to lose one of these games. Probably going to take them to lose against the Dolphins in that Sunday night game. But I think they continue to 5-0. But this is going to be a hard one. Like this, the adrenaline's going through the Washington game. Expect the same thing here. I don't think this is going to be a blowout of any sort.
Yeah, I really hope for the Eagles fans that are definitely going to be taking over that stadium, that they're going to be getting a great one here. That it's going to be basically party at the link elsewhere. But yeah, given the way that the Washington game has been going and how we've been seeing them play here for the first 4 weeks, I think they're due to lose a game. Because they can't keep getting away. We say like good teams find a way to win. I think that's true, but I also think that someday their luck is going to turn in some games. And I think the Rams and how they're built, especially with Aaron Donald and with Matthew Stafford and their receiving core, I think they're really well built to destroy the Eagles and where they've been weak in the first couple of weeks. I'm predicting Rams win 30-20.
Interesting. 30-20. Wow. All right. We got our first L prediction of the year.
Is it?
Yeah,
it is.
We haven't predicted an L yet.
That's what happens when you play the Buccaneers the Patriots, the Vikings, and Washington the first 4 weeks, I guess.
That's true. Schedule's getting tougher, man. It's getting like that Dolphins Sunday night game is gonna be a banger, man. The schedule makers nailed that one.
Where do they play?
I think it's at the Link, right? That is the first Kelly Green game.
Oh, they're winning that game.
Yeah. It's the first Kelly Green jersey game. That's going to be a fun night.
Oh, that's the Kelly Green jersey game?
That's the first
They're
Kelly Green
banging
game.
the Dolphins. Yeah. 50 burger.
All right. I think that's all she wrote for today. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. It really helps the show. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're listening audio, make sure to subscribe, Apple, Spotify, you name it. We are there. Make sure to check out Thomas's film breakdown of Nicholas Moore from last game. Make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel, Breaking the Birds. Make sure to check our sponsors, BetterHelp, Manscaped, and Sweat Taylor. And we will talk to you later.